March Madness returns tonight. 4 teams will punch their ticket to the Elite Eight. Michigan, a surprise team to even make the field, is one of those teams. They'll take on Villanova. We're thrilled to be welcomed by one of the all-time great Wolverines, a member of the Fab Five, also a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame, scored 17,000-plus points in 15 seasons in the NBA. Chris Webber is now getting into the NFT game with collectibles. C. Webb, great to have you here, man. We will get into the NFT game in just a sec. Have to ask you about the Tom Brady of hugs the other day between you and Juwan Howard, your Fab Five teammate, the coach of the Wolverines. It was unlike anything I've ever seen. It was actually bouncing up and down, as you can probably recall. Tell me about the emotion of that moment, and what do you think the Wolverines' chances are moving forward?
Well, first, thanks for having me on. And second, Tom Brady to hugs, that's a great way to put it. And shout out to Tom Brady, my boy. He's a Michigan man as well. It was just great to be back there. Juwan and I are very close friends. I love him. We played in high school together, college together, and in the NBA together. So I've always been there. But Ray Jackson went back with Ray Jackson to go support the team. So it was the best feeling. I mean, we were underdogs. We should have lost the game. We won. And so I got to go in the locker room with a bunch of guys that showed a lot of heart. So it was a lot of fun.
And Chris, this tournament obviously happening during the NIL era. It's our first March Madness with players able to profit off their name, image, and likeness. What's your takeaway, Ben, from kind of what you've seen from afar from the NIL era thus far? And I'm curious what you think it would have looked like back when the Fab Five was in action.
Well, I think that's a great question. So, one of the great things about what I'm doing with NFTs, when you're in the metaverse, when the digital world, you don't have bad knees and your body doesn't hurt. And so the great thing about this is that we get to impact athletes on all levels. So that's guys like myself that are in college now that didn't get to capitalize on our name and likeness like they are now. So I still have a relationship with a lot of young guys in college that we're going to empower through our deal at Collectible Sports. Then you have NBA guys that we're going to work with, and then you have retired guys. And so I think for the NIL, it's going to be great because now some of those kids that I've been helping privately behind the scenes, the families that we've been working with, can now benefit off of their name and likeness and driving their kids to all these darn practices. Being a soccer and a basketball mom and dad is pretty tough. So now they can benefit off of all their hard work.
Between the NIL and the transfer portal, it sure has transformed the game entirely, Chris. I want to talk about 2 things relating to your time at Michigan. One is, of course, the timeout, which you have fully embraced now, and naming your foundation and other things. You have given inspiring speeches about turning the corner from that moment, but also the 2 Final Four banners, 92 and 93. How frustrating is it for you that those are not hanging in the rafters in Ann Arbor, given name, image, and likeness, and profiting off of everything is now allowed?
So first of all, you have to look at full context, and there's no bad guys in this, meaning that, the University of Michigan was represented by many different people at the time, and there was different thought and theory. And so I think today that you really can't be bitter, or I can't be bitter. I just have to hopefully wait until the right time that the school addresses it, because it's ridiculous that, our banners aren't up there hanging. However, I'm very happy. I can't be upset because Juwan Howard is the head coach. And I tell you what, and just bringing him back, I'm there. He's one of my closest friends in the world. He's my brother. And so a piece of my heart is in that locker room. The blood, sweat, and tears that we put into working there, he still has the vestiges of that going in practice, putting it on those guys. And so, it's definitely, kind of a sore subject. But at the same time, I'm back in Michigan. It's great to be there and experience it. So, remnants or trinkets that some people may call it, it's a lot more to me. It's not about that. It's about the love that we have. And for me, this year is always bittersweet. I did call a timeout my sophomore year at the University of Michigan. We didn't have any left. That led to a technical, and we were already down, so it was no way we were going to come back and win from that. But I'm just really lucky that I have great parents. You know, after going home right after that, my mother got a license plate, and the license plate said timeout. And she said, what some people think is going to be bad, God is going to be for good. And so since that, month, we've had scholarships everywhere, from high schools to the University of Michigan. I still have scholarships there. And so it was a tough moment, but everyone goes through tough moments, right? So it's about how you bounce back and move on.
That's what life's all about, Chris. Will that moment be an NFT, the timeout?
You know what? It's interesting. It's so funny. I was asked that by Mr. Dan Patrick yesterday, and very honestly, I've never thought of that. Really, what I thought of is more of, I have an African-American history collection. I have some college rings, the first, some Fab Five balls, jerseys. But that moment, if someone asked me if I could tell my son one game to watch, what would it be? And I told them I would tell them to watch the timeout game. I had 28 points. I was the leading rebounder, leading scorer, and it was the worst moment of my life. And I would say, see, anything after that, you can bounce back from. And so the timeout for me isn't it doesn't bring on a lot of pain, even though it did cause that at the moment. But to me, it's a testimony to my father and how he taught me to be resilient, a testimony to my mother. So to make a long story short, maybe it's something we'll put in there if people are interested. But collectibles is one of the best. And so I'm happy to partner with them. And we're bringing athletes and entertainers together. And one of the reasons as president, I want to make sure that my NFT that drops March 28th is first is because I'm showing a lot of other athletes. We're going to empower you to tell your story through your NFT and hopefully through fan engagements and smart contracts, really separate ourselves from other companies that may not know the warmth that should exist between athletes and their fans. And I can speak to that from a personal level.
Chris, how's the licensing work with the NFTs as far as you mentioned some Fab Five NFTs, maybe working with players, and you might need Michigan licensing for that? Are you going to be able to have kind of the official marks that we see when it comes to Michigan athletics incorporated in those NFTs?
Well, it really depends, and you'd have to get in a room with a bunch of lawyers to answer that. But it's very simple. You own your own pictures, you own your likeness, you own your own video. Kids would kill me now. I guess I don't know if they still call it video or what they would call it. But yeah, I mean, I own my memorabilia. So if it's just again, at the end of the day, we're talking about NFTs, but we're talking about memorabilia and collecting. And so there's many jerseys that I've worn. I am a memorabilia hoarder. And so not only do I have jerseys of my own and some jersey suits from the draft, some of the things from the most important moments of my life, but I have some really great friends, and not that I'm going to NFT it, but one of the special things I talk about in the book coming up is that I was friends with Grant Hill since, man, I don't even know. That's how old I am, maybe 14. After they beat us in the Duke championship game, he gave my little brother his uniform. And being a big brother, I took it from him and I have it in my closet here. And so, a lot of things that we share within athletics, I plan to bring these personal stories, these personal effects, these personal experiences, whether an athlete or maybe even your favorite singer, rapper, entertainer, actor. And so that's what I look forward to bringing in, the nuances of licensing. It always stops when it's a personal engagement between the artist, the athlete, and the fan, and also when they're their personal effects. So that's just like saying, can I sell my first pair of shoes that I wore in my rookie game? Of course I can, regardless of the name. So I do think there are nuances in it, but I do believe in my heart that there's nothing that galvanizes the world together more than sports and music. And maybe there's one or two. And so I'm really blessed to be in an era in the sports like collectibles, venture together, sports, bring our expertise together and get around some of the real serious questions and truths that you're asking, because that's going to be the art, right? How to make sure that we engage the fan, how to make sure that we stay above board and stay in a profitable situation.
Chris, real quickly, you're obviously biased, but who wins the national championship?
University of Michigan, but I will say I will be concentrating our guys, I didn't know if we were going to make the tournament. And so I picked Baylor and Houston, but now I changed. And right now, Michigan's going to win. These guys have so much heart. Of course, they're well coached. Of course, they go to a great university. Of course, they're going to play hard, but they come from great families and they are hard workers. So, yeah, we're going to go upset the world tonight, surprise the world.
All right, man. See, Webb, appreciate you. It's coinlectables.art. Appreciate your time, man. Best of luck rest of the tournament.